Hello, good evening and welcome to News First Weekend Primetime News. I'm Nadim Majid. Let's start with a look at tonight's headlines.
Residents of Uhna Ampara protest against the CEB strike. The Sri Lanka Army says it is prepared to intervene to ensure the continuous supply of electricity. Subject Minister calls on employees to protect the good name of the CEB. Veteran journalist Victor Ivan speaks out on the shooting at the Valikada prison. Minister Ajit P. Pereira labels the collection of money by the opposition as money laundering.
Our top story tonight is, of course, the ongoing strike by workers at the Ceylon Electricity Board. Residents of Uhna in the Ampara district staged a demonstration today against the strikers.
Areas of Ampara and Uhna suffered a power disruption 4 days ago and the power is yet to be restored. Residents held a protest today opposite the CEB maintenance office in Ampara. Police had to intervene to bring the situation under control.
Meanwhile, speaking to News First, the Army media spokesperson Brigadier Roshan Senviratne said the Sri Lanka Army is prepared to intervene to ensure an uninterrupted power supply. The Army media spokesperson added that 153 five-member teams comprising of members with the necessary technical know-how are ready to be deployed if the need arises. Meanwhile, the strike action launched by employees of the CEB has continued into day 4 today.
CB trade unions charged that their demands are yet to be met by the government.
This is a trade union struggle. The salaries of engineers have risen by around 300,000 or 350,000 rupees. This is an unfair salary increase. We call on authorities to withdraw this increase and consider increasing the salaries of other employees for the year 2018.
The trade union action is being launched by several trade unions of the CEB. However, electricity superintendents, control centre operators, electrical engineers nor their assistants have joined this trade union action. The CEB engineers unions point out that they will be able to maintain a constant supply despite the trade union action.
If you compare the salaries of the CEB engineers with that of engineers in the water board or that of LECO, they are very low. In spite of this, these trade unions have launched this action by scaring off some people. There was an attempt yesterday to disrupt the supply of electricity to the National Hospital. However, it was foiled through the intervention of the security forces. There were such attempts in several other locations as well. However, the security forces arrested the perpetrators and will be taking the necessary action. There are several acts of sabotage that have been reported. Such incidents were reported from the Ampara district as well as areas such as Piliandala and Ingiriya. Last night, attempts were made to sabotage a transformer and a high-tension line in Kuliyapitiya. However, it was averted through the intervention of vigilant residents. We call on the general public to remain aware of the electricity distribution equipment in your area and to protect them from people who may sabotage them.
A
CEB labourer who attempted to sabotage a transformer in Kuliyapitiya was arrested and placed in remand custody after he was produced before the Kuliyapitiya magistrate.
They are speaking of a salary discrepancy which arose during the 2014-2015 period. That was before I came into power. This is a complicated issue. There are two teams engaged in a power struggle here. Each group says that they are the most necessary component. This strike action began when I wrote to submit their views on this issue. I call on all those employees to safeguard the good name of the CEB and to return to work.
The final rites were observed today for Public Health Inspector MG Sunil Karunaratne, who died because of medical negligence and a power outage.
MJ Sunil Karunaratne, a 56-year-old father of one, died of a heart attack. His relatives complained that the Hinguraguda Divisional Hospital refused to admit him due to lack of doctors coupled with a power outage. MJ Sunil Karunaratne died while being admitted to the Polonnaruwa General Hospital. The final rites were conducted this evening at the Bothal Karawanguwa crematorium in Mineria.
If a health sector employee was treated like this, what would be the fate of a normal person? We made a complaint to the police and informed the Director General of Health. We hope justice will be meted out towards my brother.
Kasun Palisena, the CEO of Perpetual Treasuries, revealed before the Presidential Commission of Inquiry yesterday that Arjun Aloysius had provided false information on the company to the Committee on Public Enterprises. We have more on this story coming up later in the bulletin, right after this short commercial break. Welcome back to Weekend Primetime News. The explosive revelations that continue to come to light from the Presidential Commission of Inquiry are causing outrage among civil society and political activists. The latest, of course, was when CEO of Perpetual Treasuries, Kasun Palisena, revealed before the Presidential Commission yesterday that Arjun Aloysius, a former director, had provided false information on the company to the Committee of Public Enterprises in Parliament.
Arjun Aloysius had provided false information to the COPE committee chaired by D.E.W. Gunasekara. However, before the committee was able to formulate its final report, Parliament was dissolved. Following the election, MP Sunil Handunetti was appointed as the chairperson of COPE, and they investigated the bond transactions and also took into consideration information gathered by the previous committee.
The CEO has clearly said that Arjun Aloysius provided false information to the committee. He said he concealed evidence and lied. What is the situation today? What about the people who put footnotes? What about the people who wrote books? They will have to burn these books and apply the ashes on their foreheads. How can those responsible for the footnotes step onto the street with no shame? We call on the government to take immediate action against this. We also call on legal action against those who protected this transaction. This commission is only a fact-finding entity. They don't have the powers to punish those responsible. However, this commission has revealed details which could have taken years to investigate. These facts revealed by the commission can be used by the legal arms of the government because the evidence is already there. They could act on this when the final report is released. If a villager steals coconuts, he is beaten up and questioned by the police. However, people like Arjun Aloysius, who stole trillions from the central bank, go before the commission and say, "I cannot provide evidence." Is this the law of the land? They can remain silent before a court of law, but they have no legal right to stay silent before a commission of this nature. Some people wore clean suits. They stole in a very diplomatic manner. Ranil Wickremesinghe's friend, who was working in Singapore, was brought in as the central bank governor. That is Arjuna Mahendran. His son-in-law is Arjun Aloysius. It was revealed through the Presidential Commission that Arjun Aloysius lied to COPE on the bond transactions. How do you think the footnote clan of the UNP feel now? There were benefits, perks and bribes behind all of this. It will all be revealed. Do you honestly think that he went and lied to COPE on his own? Don't you think he consulted Ranil Wickremesinghe beforehand? Where should the people involved in this crime end up? If someone has committed a crime and is lying to cover it, then he should be punished for both crimes because the law of the land has provisions for this.
Walikada, a book authored by journalist Kasun Pussewala, was launched in Colombo yesterday.
The book is based on a riot that broke out at the Walikada prison in November 2012, which claimed the lives of 27 and injured 40 others. Politicians, artists and journalists were present at the book launch yesterday.
This is the first military operation carried out in the south after the riots of 88 and 89. These are not mere murders done with weapons. This was launched by the Mahinda Rajapaksa government. Gotabaya Rajapaksa and Jagat Jayasuriya are definitely responsible for this, along with the officials who were involved. We should rise against the military suppression of the Mahinda Rajapaksa government. No investigations have been carried out regarding any of these matters. The suppressions by the Rajapaksa regime, the racial disputes that took place, the Tamil political prisoners who were murdered, the Sinhalese prisoners had to undergo the same fate. What we can see through the Valikada incident is that we could now be seen as a country that does immoral things, or a country with an institutional system that does immoral and unpleasant things. There are commissions that are being appointed. They are investigated. The governments change. The new government that comes into power perhaps does not like to touch these serious matters. The reason is that though the governments change, the political culture has not changed. The governments have changed, but the politicians are of the old structure. They killed with no remorse and they thieved with no shame. If we are to receive the respect of the disciplined world as a country, we have to make sure that these unpleasant things do not happen again. We have to really develop our intellect. There are many large-scale crimes that happen in this country. They are not revealed. The political system sweeps it under the carpet through various deals. We have to state that we will not let these murders get swept under the carpet. We know the government will have deals in the future to sweep these under the carpet, and that they will have political deals. As just citizens, there is room for us to think that these murders are beyond murders that took place due to a simple riot. Without letting this be solved by the prison officials, the STF enters forcibly. If I think the people who had the power to impose it did so, then you would agree with me that there is no issue. But to create a disciplined society in this country, the wrongdoers need to be punished as per the law. I would like to ask you whether we will be silent against suppression and torture. Is the quote, "prisoners are human," limited to an engraving on a wall? There are people with a conscience here. This is a book that belongs to you.
After the verdict in the Silreddy trial, where former Secretary to the President Lalit Weeratunga and former Director General of the Telecommunications Regulatory Commission Anusha Palpiter were found guilty and sentenced to 3 years imprisonment for criminal breach of trust in misappropriating 600 million rupees of taxpayer funds to purchase and distribute silk cloth among voters, the joint opposition launched an endeavour to raise funds from the public to pay those fines. This endeavour is not sitting well with their political opponents. Let's take a look at what some had to say.
Firstly, when an appeal is made, the fine does not need to be paid. Either they know that they will lose the appeal, or they are collecting money from the public as part of a money laundering scheme. They need a channel to funnel the hundreds of millions of unexplained wealth that they possess to pay the fines and compensations. So it is clear that this method of collecting money from the public is the perfect mechanism to launder money. We ask the generous members of our public to be vigilant and not fall prey to the massive scheme of money laundering. There are rules for lay people and different rules for the Sangha. There is a code that the Sangha must abide. There are accepted reasons to engage in a Pindapatya. I have never heard of the Sangha engaging in a Pindapatya to collect money. It is disappointing to see the Sangha act as scapegoats of certain politicians. This is not a good trend.
Central Expressway Phase 3. Contract granted to 2 Japanese companies violating tender procedure. Loan obtained at high interest rates instead of state concessionary credit from the Japanese government. Decision to award the contract for 134 billion rupees when the engineering estimate cost of the project at 123 billion rupees. One of the companies which has been awarded the contract faces allegations by the Japan Fair Trade Commission for tender fraud. More revelations on these transactions carried out at the expense of public funds in the near future.
Residents of Pathakada Kalutara witnessed a helicopter in the skies today engaging in what appeared to be electromagnetic oil exploration.
The exploration took place in the Athulkanda located in the Millennia Divisional Secretariat area. This is the manner in which the helicopter was hovering 60 to 90 meters above ground in order to conduct the electromagnetic exploration.
Over the past few days, there have been a group of people staying overnight. Then a helicopter arrived yesterday and started flying around with a circle attached to it. They were circling this entire area. The helicopter arrived at around 6:45 a.m. and they were surveying the entire area. They flew several times around the mountains as well.
The helicopter attached a circular object and took off at around 6:50. We don't know what this is for. We have not been informed by anyone. We want to know what is happening and who is responsible for this. Oil exploration took place on early occasion in 2013 in the northwestern province. This exploration targeted a 90 square kilometer area and was conducted in partnership with a foreign organization. However, the foreign organization left the country citing the lack of any concrete evidence of oil reserves. Officials of the Geological Survey and Mines Bureau stated back then that this was the first occasion on which a foreign permit holder conducted electromagnetic exploration for oil reserves.
Weekend Primetime News will return after this short commercial break. Welcome back to Weekend Primetime News. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe graced an event held in Polpitigama today where he commented on enforced disappearances and war crimes.
The event was held to declare open a newly constructed building at the Polpitigama National College.
The International Convention on Protecting Those Subject to Enforced Disappearances comes into effect the day it is ratified. This is in accordance with Article 79 of the Constitution. This does not affect the past. It is mentioned in our Constitution that you cannot backdate laws to affect past events. No one can take action against enforced disappearances that occurred before October or November of 2017. Crimes which were committed prior to this day cannot be prosecuted under this. The biggest issues in this subject relate to Eknaligoda and Tajuddin. However, this legislation cannot be used in relation to these incidents. Both President Maithripala Sirisena and I have stated clearly that we have no intention of taking those who participated in the war to the international arena. We have no desire to file charges against them. Right or wrong, we can resolve such issues in the country according to the laws of our land.
A group of death row inmates and prisoners serving life sentences at the Bogambara prison began a hunger strike today, calling for their sentences to be relaxed.
Inmates of the Bogambara prison began their protests on Thursday, and inmates of the Valikara prison began their protests yesterday in solidarity with the prisoners in Bogambara. Media spokesperson of the prisons department, Tushar Upudenia, stated that inmates at the Valikara prison consumed their meals during lunch today. 2 years ago, a special committee appointed by the Ministry of Justice reviewed the cases of such inmates and pardoned 247 of them. The Prisoners Department spokesperson stated that this committee had been reviewing several cases relating to the protesting inmates when they began their hunger strike. Over 300 inmates have joined the hunger strike as at present.
Based on the grievances of long-term prison inmates and their rehabilitation, we do take steps to review their cases and lessen their sentences. We have selected around 60 of them and they are currently facing interviews. There is no need to engage in a hunger strike.
The foundation stone for the 459th village under the Samhita Sevana program was laid today under the auspices of Minister Sajith Premadasa.
Located in Ranminithanna, Thissamaharama, this village consists of 35 homes and has been named Sisu Sirikama. They use the Saitam label to hold as many protests as they can against the government, thereby reducing public confidence in the present administration. These doctors are carrying out a cheap campaign to bring Mahinda Rajapaksa back into power, and they do not care if they kill people in the process.
Therefore, I would like to ask the former president whether he hopes to achieve his dreams of becoming the president or the prime minister over the dead bodies of the people of this country. What is more important, his dreams or the lives of the patients? This important question must be answered not only by Mahinda Rajapaksa but by the entire nation.
මෙන්න මේ වැදගත් ප්‍රශ්නය මහින්ද රාජපක්ෂ මැතිතුමා පමණක් නෙවෙයි රටේ ජනතාවත් තීන්දුව කරන්නට ඕනේ.
The recent partnership between Newsfirst Gammadda initiative and the Good Market has yielded positive results and opened up new avenues for both initiatives. The Good Market supports local producers with the aim of strengthening the rural economy. Another phase of the Good Market got underway at the premises of the Kandy City Centre this morning.
The Kandy Good Market was filled with stalls that showcased products of both local and international entrepreneurs. The Good Market comprised completely toxic-free food stalls with food that are endemic to the Kandy region. Gammadda is a project that is in effect for the people of our country. Good Market is also a place where we help the people of this country. These two ideologies have joined as one, and not only that, by coming to Kandy we have been able to join three ideologies together.
Gammadda is a program that has been launched for the people. We are happy to have joined hands with the Good Market. On the other hand, the fact that this is happening at the Kandy City Centre also makes us very grateful. We congratulate and hope that this will do something for our country. I am thankful to the Gammadda team. We are not engaging in business. We are implementing the vision of improving the quality of life.
An office was set up at the location to educate the urban developers of the projects that are undertaken and carried out by the Gammadda initiative. Proprietor of the Kandy City Centre, Thusita Vijay Sena, also made a financial donation to the Gammadda initiative. Several programs were also held at the Good Market premises today.
We have seen the projects that are carried out by Gammadda. They are being carried out successfully. The Gammadda program truly helps the poor.
Two novice monks were ordained at the Mahabodhi Agrashavaka Mahaviharya in Maradana today under the auspices of Venerable Banagalopati Sathera, the president of the Mahabodhi Society of Sri Lanka.
The novice monks were ordained in line with religious observances organized to commemorate the 153rd birth anniversary of Anagarika Dharmapala. Molligoda Pathirage Purna Indrakila, a civil engineering graduate of the Moratuwa University, was ordained as Hangballe Padumathero. Meanwhile, Colombo University computer science graduate Mindika Kasun Samarakkodi was ordained as Bandaravala Megia Thero.
ශ්‍රීමත් අනගාරික ධර්මපාලතුමාගේ 153 වෙනි ගුණ සමරු උත්සවය
The 153rd birth anniversary of Anagarika Dharmapala will be marked tomorrow opposite the Anagarika Dharmapala statue at the Viramadevi Park. The event will be held under the auspices of Venerable Dr. Ittepane Dharmalanka Mahanayaka Thero of the Kote Sri Kalyani Samagya Dharma Mahasangha Sabha. By organizing such activities, we hope to take forward the activities and beliefs of Anagarika Dharmapala. Today's ceremony was also an important event in our activities.
An unexpected guest paid a visit to the Anapalamu Primary School in Wallawaya this afternoon.
A wild elephant stormed into the school ground of the Anapalama Primary School as students were engaged in weekend classes at the school. Area residents charged that this pachyderm has been roaming around the area over the past few days.
The elephant walked right through the ground. Look at the time. Thankful it is not a school day. Otherwise all these children would have been in danger. This is not the first time it has happened. He has broken down buildings of the school. It broke through the elephant fence. The elephant left because the villagers got together to chase it away.
On some days we can see the elephant crossing the school ground when we are in class. He broke a class behind us. There were students early in the morning when this happened. Area residents state that elephants frequent this path even though there is no elephant path that falls across the area. By 5 p.m. the elephant comes to this area and storms the area in the night. We live with these small children. That elephant ate the entire night and was there in the morning as well. The people worked very hard, lighting crackers to chase it away. It's the same today.
It is the same situation further down the road. The authorities dump garbage close by, and this is where the elephants are. If you go now, you will be able to see around 25 to 30 elephants at the dump site.
The second International Forum for Teachers was held over the past 2 days in the Maldives and Colombo under the theme Touching Hearts, Transforming Minds. The forum was organized by the Gateway Graduate School.
Organized for the second consecutive year, the International Forum for Teachers focuses on exploring the teacher's role in transforming minds by touching hearts. The forum saw the participation of a number of eminent international speakers. Secretary to the Ministry of Education, Sunil Hettiarachchi, graced the event as its chief guest.
We are very happy that we've been able to extend what we started last year. The International Forum that we began last year, we also kind of extended it to the parents. And we had, for the very first time, an International Forum for Parents last year. Today's theme, Touching Hearts and Transforming Minds, is something that is very close to me. I believe it is the most essential part where teachers are concerned. For us at Gateway, this is our way of reaching out. We find that these fora would provide us the opportunity of reaching out to a wider audience, to the teachers of other schools, where we all work as one family.
That's a wrap of Weekend Primetime News. I don't mean to cast a shadow on your weekend, but I'd like to share some thoughts with our viewers. The right of assembly, the freedom of speech and expression, and tolerance. These concepts and values are essential to any vibrant and functioning democracy. But should you continue to extend tolerance to the intolerant? And then ask yourselves, who is being intolerant? Is it the protesters and the strikers? Or is it the government who the protesters and strikers accuse of not listening to their concerns? Earlier in the news, we reported on the final rites being observed for a PHI in Polonnaruwa. Now ask yourselves, who are the real victims when political parties, politicians and trade unions engage in power plays? I'm Nadim Majid. Good night and good luck.